We've been reporting for some time on the rising numbers of migrants coming into the United States. While most arrive at the southern border, many of them have been sent to other cities, including New York City. A new CBS Reports documentary examines the challenges families face and New York City's struggle to keep up.
Well, now to the crisis at the southern border. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has ordered more buses to send more migrants north to Democratic-run cities amid the surge in asylum seekers.
Queremos dar la bienvenida a Nueva York.
New York, the United States, still has that hope, that glimmer of hope for people to come here.
Major cities far from the southern border are welcoming record numbers of migrants.
En mi país no hay futuro. Y yo no quiero que mis hijos no tengan el mismo futuro que yo.
As families fight for a future, migration in America faces a reckoning.
In New York City, we've been proud to help more than 110,000 asylum seekers to date, but now we need help. We've done much more than our share here to help asylum seekers coming into our country.
In America's largest sanctuary city, the right to shelter is being tested and tensions are rising.
To make sure that all these politicians pay for hanging us out to dry.
It's $12 billion over the next 3 years to shelter and feed these people. $12 billion in taxpayer funding. New York City is limited, and we are at capacity.
So joining me now is CBS News New York reporter Jessi Mitchell, and this is your CBS News report. So this is, you know, if you're not in New York, you won't sort of realize that there are sections of the city that have been transformed by this, you know. So people know about the buses coming from Texas, but that's not the only reason we're seeing a surge here. Why is there a surge in migration?
Well, Anne-Marie, Vlad, thanks for having me on. This is a really great chance to look in depth at the whole picture. There are a lot of different challenges happening across Latin America right now, and it's not one country or one problem. A few years ago, we saw Venezuela start to have its economic collapse. Now you have Ecuador, Nicaragua, other people who feel challenged in their own environment, enough so that they are willing to risk their lives for what they believe is a better future here. When they get here, it's yet to be seen if they can find that.
So they are making what is often a very dangerous journey, oftentimes with young children, to get here. No doubt inspired by the millions of immigrants who have come here in years past. But the flip side of the argument that a lot of people are making is that in 1920, the population of the U.S. was significantly less than it is today, specifically even New York City. And there was a need for that immigrant labor and all the things that the immigrants brought to the country back in the turn of the century. But there's only so much that the country and the city can absorb. What did you learn on that side of it?
And again, these people are being distributed throughout the country, not by choice. They're being told, you're going here, get on this bus. And then when they arrive, they have to figure things out. There are a lot of different steps and they're not allowed to work. So what do? They turn to the opportunities they have maybe under the table. You see outside of these hotels a lot of the motorbikes for delivering food. And also people have heard, oh, I have a friend in Florida, now I want to go there. And so New York City is actually paying to send people where they want to go once they arrive here. And that is helping them spread out some of the crowd. They said about 1 in 4 people arrive here already wanting to go somewhere else. They get them out of here within 24 hours. But now other cities, Chicago, D.C., everywhere, we're starting to see that surge moving around, and they're starting to declare states of emergencies as well.
You know, you talk about the need for immigration during the turn of the century and how it's a different time, but it's also a different time because there are new rules and new laws and new expectations. You know, that the city of New York takes on some of this responsibility to make sure people are not left out in the street. All of this is really, really expensive. The school district is going to absorb these kids. Right. All of this is really, really expensive. So back in the turn of the century, you sort of had to fend for yourself. Right. Now there's a greater financial responsibility. What does New York say needs to be done to help the city manage this crisis or help ease the crisis? And his incendiary language, like Mayor Adams used when he said that this is going to destroy New York. Yeah. I mean, is that what he actually believes, and is that helpful?
Well, it's interesting how many of the different perspectives actually share some of the same feelings. They want the federal government and they want other states to chip in and play a part because these people are showing up regardless. 7 million people have left Venezuela in the last few years. Where are they going to go? And they're being sold a dream by smugglers who want to steal their money. They're saving up to $20,000 per person to make this trip. And it's costing them even more when they're being extorted along the way. And so that money is already spent by the time they get here. They have nothing. They have to rely on the government services. And so the help has to come from somewhere.
Can I ask Jessi, and this is because I don't know the subject well enough, I wonder why we're always talking about the situation as it relates to large American cities on the East Coast primarily and on the West Coast. Why, and maybe this is because maybe they don't know, but there are still places in this country that are sparsely populated, right? In the Dakotas, in Wyoming, for example, where I'm sure the same reasons why immigrants were welcomed in the 1920s might perhaps be enough of an incentive for some of those states to welcome migrants, either because they can use them for, that's the wrong word, they can give them jobs and opportunities that would perhaps allow them to build a future here, but maybe not in New York City or Miami or Boston.
Of course. Well, that's part of the politicization of all of this, right? So Texas and other border states are sending these people to the sanctuary cities because they've opened the doors to allow them in. However, these places are not where they're needed. Now since COVID, have had a shortage in farm workers and other types of migrant workers that previously the country relied on for industry. And now those industries are suffering. Those are in a lot of red states. And so it's going to take working across the aisle to really get a solution to this.
It makes sense to me to think about a program that would probably have to be spurred on by the federal government to incentivize big businesses that have industry in some of those parts of the country where they are sparsely populated. And it's not to suggest, I'm not trying to change people's ways of life in those areas, but when you look at a city like New York or Boston, Miami and Detroit, clearly there's only so much that those cities can absorb, where there might be places where...
But, we have seen that sort of thing kind of work. There are towns in Pennsylvania that were essentially dying towns that now have a robust Latino community because of that, right? And so it can work if it's planned out well, if it's supported by various levels of government, and if there's a desire. But, as you point out, this conversation is so politically charged that sometimes the desire is just not there.
Such great reporting. Jessi Mitchell, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You can stream the new CBS Reports documentary, Fighting for a Future, America's Migration Reckoning, tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern or anytime on the free CBS News app and Paramount Plus.